Hello and welcome back to Meg Reads Books. So today I'm reviewing something called The School for Good and Evil. It's by Soman Chainani. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I'm very, very sorry. And I didn't mean to. It's just I'm terrible at pronouncing everything. Like if you saw me in my French lesson, it's horrendous, okay? Anyways. So it's so good. It is like amazing. It's different. I finished it in like 5 days and it's quite a big book. It's not like ginormous, but it's also not really small. So like a few days is good for this. So if you like chunky books, this is like, they're like Keeper of the Lost City size, you know, pretty big, hefty. And I was just like, the ending was amazing. So like at the start, I wasn't that interested. Like I kept reading it because I thought the story was cool. But you know, I wasn't like, it's my best book ever. It's the best book. I cannot put this down. So then as it got closer to the start, it just got more and more gripping. And then it was around the chapter symptoms that I could not put it down. I would like reading it everywhere. Like if I had a chance to watch whatever I wanted on TV, I was actually reading this. It is so great. The chapters have such nice names. It's like, you know, there's a chapter called Hope in the Toilet. And then it was around here that I could not put this down. Like, so first it was like, but I have to read this, like this until I got here. And I was like, oh, this is actually so good. And I was like, this is actually really good. And I kept reading until I got, and like I kept reading, like, but I was able to put it down and do something else. But then I had to read. I stayed up super late reading, and it was amazing. I know I just talked about how I read it, but anyways, I've actually got a set of the books. I'm on the second one now. I probably should review this when I finish the series because then I can have my full opinion. But I think maybe a fresh opinion on just the first book. Usually I've finished the whole series, or I'm not planning on finishing the series before I state my opinions on the books online, but like this was just so good and I do not want to forget a single detail about it. So there's two main characters. They're on the cover. This is called Sophie and this is called Agatha, but then it switches from one or two other characters' point of view, like a boy called Tedros, who I hate Tedros so much. If people who like Tedros, you're wrong, okay? You're wrong. You got it from a book reviewer. I hate Tedros. I'm kidding. This is just my opinion. Like, this is not actually facts. You can never have facts about how good a book is because some people might absolutely hate this and throw it in a bin, and some people might like be as obsessed with this as I am with my absolute favorite book, which is a book called Skandar. I'm not going to talk about Skandar because then this will turn into a review of Skandar, and I'm talking about this amazing book. And also, you know how like some books have like little quotes up here, like the Percy Jackson's like half boy, half god, all hero. But this one says, one witch girl, one princess, one happily never after. And there's just like so many books in this series, and like it's so good. This book is amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna start actually telling you what happens in the book instead of warbling on about what I think of it. But anyways, every 4 years, 2 children over the age of 12, so they can be basically like, they have to be still kids, but they have to be over 12, so are taken away, basically. So 2 children, every 4 years, 2 children are taken away. So they don't have to be, like, one could be 14 and one could be 12. One could be like 17 and one could be 13. It doesn't, but like, and sometimes and it could be a boy and a girl, or 2 boys or 2 girls, and they're never returned to Gavalden, ever. Nobody knows where they're going until the children of Gavalden find out. They see people who've been missing in their books, in their fairy tales. Girls they recognize who are Snow White and Cinderella now. Yeah? Well, the grown-ups ignore them for a bit, but then they realize that kids are right. Then the man who is like the bookseller is delivered a box of books every year, and he used to copy them out and he sells them to the kids with the new fairy tales. He finds notes from the school for good and evil. And that's when they realise it's one really pretty, kind child and one mean, horrible child that's being taken every time kids are taken. So basically, if you go to the school for good, if you go to the good side of the school, you'll be a princess or a prince, or like something nice and the good people of the fairy tales. But if you go to evil, you'll be like a witch or a wizard or a sorcerer. And most kids are really, really scared of going to it. And like, it's terrifying. You're going to be taken by this evil man called the schoolmaster. But not Sophie. Sophie has read all her life of being a princess, and she knows the school for good and evil is her chance. And she's a really big chance of going to the school for good. She loves doing good deeds. She's beautiful. She's always wearing pink, and she's super kind. On the other hand, her best friend, Agatha, is not that good looking. She's mean and lives in a graveyard. So, but they're the best of friends, and it's just like, so of course they're the two children expected to be taken by the schoolmaster. Most kids who are also expected, they do different things. Kids who are beautiful cut their hair and dirty their face, and start being rude and mean to people. And kids that are very, very bad polish themselves and make themselves look a bit nicer and start going to church and stuff, so they won't be taken for the school for evil. But that's not how you're chosen. It's not chosen like that. It's chosen by how pure your soul is. Everyone is born with like a soul that's super good, or a soul that's a soul that's good, or a soul that's evil. And some souls are purer than others, and they're the souls that are taken to the school for good and evil. So when the schoolmaster takes Sophie and Agatha, Agatha is terrified and Sophie is delighted. Until Agatha is put into the school for good and Sophie into the school for evil, and both girls assume it's just a mistake. But they never get to see each other, and they're the best friends. So Sophie has to do uglification classes while Agatha does beautification. They do different kinds of magic, like Agatha gets to sing to animals, which she hates, and Sophie has to like do evil things with demons and grow warts and all this sort of disgusting stuff. They start to just think it's just a big mistake, until they realize maybe it's not. I don't want to say anymore, but okay, this is a big spoiler, so maybe like skip past this a little bit. But Sophie becomes like super, super duper evil. Like super evil. I'm not going to say why, but she kind of does. And like she turns really ugly, but then she turns beautiful again because she turns back good. But you can't switch sides. You can, no matter how much you want to be good, if you're evil, you are evil for life. So that's how it goes. Anyways, I thought it was just amazing. There are some characters which I absolutely hated, like Tedros. Oh, Tedros was so stereotypical. Oh my goodness. I am on the second book, which is A World Without Princes, and if it means there's no more Tedros, let's hope there is a world without princes. I'm not that far into the second one, but I will be doing a review on the second one once I finished it, because I like finishing off series. But if you like books like The Land of Stories, which is by Chris Colfer, like A Tale of Magic and stuff. I haven't read A Tale of Magic, but I've read some of The Land of Stories. And then books. I don't think the series has a name, but it's... Okay, so it's like the evil unicorn books. They're like the Frozen Unicorn and the Cursed Unicorn and the Flaming Unicorn, like all them. If you like them, which are actually, I know they sound like kind of not that great, creepy, good books. They are amazing. don't be put off by the cute, like not the cute covers. The covers aren't cute, but like the Frozen unicorn I own, and the cover looks actually kind of pretty, and it's really sparkly. They've got gorgeous covers, but you know, don't let the names or the covers be like you put off that it's a super creepy book and is amazing. Also, don't let this put you off that it's like, yeah. Also, have you realized on this cover? I'm sorry to shame the person who did the cover, but Sophie kind of looks like she's wearing a wig. Because you know when you wig, your hair just looks a bit like here. It's more like your hairline is further down your head. Well, that's what it's like there, and her hair is kind of puffing up as well. And Agatha doesn't look that ugly. On the cover, like Agatha has like big bug eyes and her skin, her limbs are all like weird. And her hair is like a big, ugly, greasy blob. Now she looks like just a normal kid, but she's paler skin than usual and like just got short black hair, and it actually looks really nice. And the black clothes she wears are usually like big dumpy sacks, but now she's wearing like cool stylish coat. Okay, Sophie is my favorite character. I know that is very different of me because I'm usually like I'm not saying I'm a girly girl or a boy or like a boyish girl. I'm kind of in between. I'm like a dress a lot of like outfits that are kind of like what I'm wearing now. This is pretty girly, this jumper, but the pants I'm wearing are kind of tomboy. I'm not saying anything about like I know, but like there's both kind of like you can be evil and super pretty at the same time, and it's kind of like that's like not because sometimes the princess and the witch don't look like they do in the fairy tales. That's like when the two girls are taken, things don't go quite to Sophie's plan. Because sometimes the princess and the witch don't look like they do in fairy tales. This blurb is pretty much a ginormous spoiler, and also at the start of the book, pretty obvious, like you're not just going to stick the princessy princess in the princess school and the witchy girl in the witch school, because then it'll just be them going about their day being normal kids in the schools. And yes, it is more interesting than your life and my life, but like you want like something to change, you want it to be different, you want it to be exciting, and like the princess and the witch can never be friends, but they're so good friends. But then, oh no, Sophie wants to kill Agatha. Sorry for the spoilers. Okay, this is a great book. I give it like 10 out of 10. It is amazing. I recommend this for people who like fairy tale books or things like, I don't know, but everybody who's read this or heard of this says it sounds like Descendants. And like even book reviewer says, oh, this reminds me of Descendants. So if you like Descendants, read this. Or if you like this, watch Descendants. I haven't. Everybody else in the world has. I'm planning on watching Descendants because it looks good. There's rainbows. All I know is like you can dress up in complete red or complete pink, and I don't know. And you get this beautiful map at the start. That's like so this is like the schoolmaster's tower here. Halfway bridge. This is the evil towers, and this is good shores. So this is where Agatha is. I always imagine good on this side because on the cover, good is this side. And they're way more farther apart than they are in this. Because they're supposed to be one school, but there's the school for good and the school for evil, and sometimes it's the school for good and evil. Like, and they're kind of at war. The whole thing is kind of like different than normal fantasy books because it's so cool. I just love it so much. It's a bit confusing, like you have to read a few passages, but I definitely recommend this. If you like things like, let's say, Descendants, that's all I can think of, and Chris Colfer books. Chris Colfer books are so like this. Like, I'd say The Land of Stories. The Land of Stories is actually not like this because it was funny and fairy tale-y at the same time. This is very fairy tale because like it's basically how to be in a fairy tale. So I recommend this if you like princess books or books with witches and evil peoples in them. And thanks for watching. So make sure to check out all my other reviews on my reads books. And if you want to see me review the rest of the series, subscribe. I don't tell my viewers to subscribe that often, but If you feel like subscribing, please subscribe. And if you feel like not subscribing, please subscribe. Okay, thanks for watching and bye.